Hey, what's up guys? Matt here with Fix Anything Save Money. Today we're going to be showing you how to do a basic tune-up on this Stihl model FS38. So we're just going to be showing you the two things you should pretty much be doing every year, which are the spark plug and then cleaning out the air filter on this model. So I do have a separate video up on how to replace the carburetor on this, and I'm going to put a link to that video right in the top right hand corner. So be sure to check that out. That shows you how to actually replace the carburetor and then the fuel filter, which is inside of the fuel tank. So if your machine isn't running right and it's bogging down, or it seems like there's some sort of issue with the carburetor, be sure to check that video out. But this video is going to be just how to replace the spark plug and what to do with the air filter. So we'll get right into it. What we're going to do is press this button, and while we're pressing that in, just pop this door open, and that's going to expose our air filter. And you can see I have a new air filter in here. You can see the way that it goes. There's a little hole cut out for that right there. So that's how it would go back in. And what I like to do with these, if you're not going to replace it with a brand new one, I like to wash these out really well with Dawn and hot water and just kind of put it on a windowsill for a day, let it air dry before you put it back in. So that's how you would replace the air filter. And then to replace the spark plug, you could honestly get away with doing the spark plug probably every 2 years, but I recommend just doing it, when you're doing your yearly maintenance. So to do that, you could either pull this off by hand, but it's pretty hard. So what I like to do is just take a big flathead and just kind of pry underneath the rubber boot to get the cap off. It just helps. Okay, so now we have our spark plug exposed. And all we're going to need to do is use a 13/16 spark plug socket. You can see the spark plug socket has a little rubber gasket in it. You don't have to use a spark plug socket. You could just use a 13/16, but this little rubber gasket inside, that just kind of helps sit around here so you can pull it out easier. But that's mainly, they make these for cars so that you could get them out easier. But you could use either a spark plug socket or just a regular 13/16 socket. So we're just going to kind of move that out of the way and just fit this in. And then we're going to loosen this by rotating it this way, counterclockwise. Okay, and then we're just going to loosen it up a little bit. And once you get it loose, you could usually remove it by hand. And you can see there's that little rubber gasket that comes out from inside the socket. So we could just put that back in there. Okay, so now our spark plug is loose. So we'll just go ahead and remove it the rest of the way. And you could either clean these with a wire brush or just replace them. Okay, and then to put it back in, you just want to make sure it's nice and clean and you're not getting any debris inside of it. And then we're just going to install it by rotating it clockwise. Get it started. Okay, we put our socket back on. And then we're just going to tighten it back down. You don't want to go crazy tightening it because you could break the spark plug, but you just want it, tight enough where it's not loose in there. Okay. And then we're just going to put our cap back on. And these caps, usually when you get them seated correctly, you'll kind of hear it click into place. I don't know if the camera picked up that noise, but it did kind of give a little click. Okay, and then if you don't know how to start this, we'll go over the starting sequence really quick. So we're going to turn our choke all the way up by pushing that lever up. And then I don't have any fuel in here, but I'm going to put fuel in, and then you would just press your priming bulb, you know, 5, 6, 7 times, load the carburetor up with fuel. Okay, so after it's primed, we have our choke up. We're just going to pull it 4 or 5 times until it kind of soft starts. You'll hear the engine kind of turn over but not start. And then we're just going to flick this down, pull it again, and it should start. And then just give it a few minutes, let the engine warm up before you use it. You could even give it like a couple little revs just to get the engine warmed up. And then once it's up to normal operating temperature, it's running smoothly, then you're good to go. So if you guys have any questions at all, be sure to leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, if this video helped you, be sure to give it a like, be sure to subscribe to the channel, check out all my other tool and DIY videos, and also be sure to check that video that I put the link up on how to replace the carburetor. So if your carburetor, you know, if you go to start it and it's bogging down, or it just doesn't seem like it's running right, it's not starting as quickly as you think it should, then it's most likely the carburetor. And either the carburetor, you could clean them out, or you could buy new ones. So I do have a video up on how to replace that. And when you're replacing this, I do recommend just replacing the fuel filter, because you already have it all apart. You have, you know, the lines already out when you're doing this. So it's a good thing just to replace the fuel filter inside when you're doing the carb. And then also this right here, just so you know, so to start it, when you want to use it, you have to push that in, depress your trigger. And then really the only other thing about this is, you know, when you're going to start it, make sure this button isn't up, because that's your kill switch and that will stop. Your engine's not going to start if it's up like that. So you want it in that position when you go to start it. So yeah guys, like I said, if you have any questions, be sure to reach out in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And then also just be sure to subscribe to the channel if this video helped you out. Be sure to check out all my other tool and DIY videos. And yeah guys, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.